Today I'm finally going back home because I have to get back to work. I know it's sad, but your boy's got to make some money because I've actually only been traveling. I just got back from Colorado. I worked only for 1 week and I'm back up here in Branson, so I gotta book some more clients. COVID's kind of screwing up all the market for social media right now just because a lot of businesses can't afford it, so I have to do some more booking and just getting some more clients. So I just found out I have work tomorrow at 8 in the morning, but I also have to edit this video, which is great, like don't get me wrong, but it's gonna be a long night. I didn't really film that much in the car because I passed out. If you do make YouTube videos, I always think you should put your best work out there. I don't think you should just post willy-nilly just because you have to. I think you should always have a plan, an idea when you vlog or make videos. I always see my friends and just people I know post 30-minute videos of just random crap that means nothing. So let me show you an example. This is my lighting situation. It's okay, it's just pretty harsh. I have lights coming from the ceiling. There's nothing lighting here, or there's not any depth. Fun tip, if you do have a C-stand or any heavy lights, like big lights like this, you wanna get sandbags because your light will tip over if you don't have a sandbag on it. That neon sign, hanging outside that bar, should have said go home. If you know what's good for your heart. Okay, so this is the setup we have for today's video. It is lit by a Aperture 120D at 48%, and then I just have a hair light, which is a lamp in the back. My settings are 6400 ISO, and I'm shooting at 2.0 aperture, and my shutter, of course, is at 50 because I'm shooting in 24 frames. The other day, I had a question asked on my Instagram. A guy DM'd me talking about the Canon EOS R and how I sold him on it, and I thought I would just talk about my equipment and why I use what I use. I did make a video in the past talking about my Canon EOS R and why I bought it and why I shoot on Canon, but I just thought I'd go a little bit more in depth on each lens and why I bought it and what type of videography I do. So first things first, if I can get my camera out. This is my favorite lens. This is actually what I'm vlogging with right now. It's a 24mm. I did get it used, that's why it's got a little bit of wear and tear, but it's nothing too crazy. That shoots at 1.4 for a wide angle lens, which is just insane. It's pretty cheap too. You can get them for like $700, which I say cheap, but it's actually pretty expensive. And I got that for low light when I shoot weddings, and Canon doesn't have the best low light. I'll go a little bit more in depth in that later, but that's why I got it, because I wanted to fit aperture just for dancing and ceremonies and just stuff like that. My second thing I use every day is a Rode VideoMic Pro Plus. I bought this. It's a little bit expensive for an on-camera microphone, but it turns off when your camera turns off and it turns on when your camera turns on. So you know your mic is always on, and then it has a 20 dB plus. I believe it also has a high pass filter, which is good. I just keep everything on neutral, and I actually now use my microphone auto, and this is how it sounds. I had a question the other day. A guy asked about the preamps. I think it sounds amazing. This is just auto levels. I'm talking right now a little bit further, and I'm talking a little bit closer. Of course, it is a directional mic, so it's gonna sound a little bit better than an omnidirectional mic, but that's how the Rode VideoMic Pro, sorry, can't even talk. The Rode VideoMic Pro Plus sounds, and it sounds amazing. And then the last thing I use is a Canon EOS R. I don't need to film it anymore because it's pretty simple. But why I bought the Canon EOS R instead of Sony or anything like that is I shoot weddings, but I also do a lot of content creating. So I needed a flippy screen, that's how I see myself. I needed something with good colors. So Canon's amazing. That's why a lot of content creators use Canon, because you can just grab and go, hit record. You can use on-camera microphone or off-camera. You can sync it. And I forgot to remind you, if you do need to use off-camera, like external recorder, that's also perfect. I just think you don't really need to. You're posting on YouTube, so the audio is gonna sound fine. Me personally, you can decide how it sounds, but you don't need to go overkill, or that's up to you. The low light on the Canon is okay. It's not the best. I'll show you really quick. This is me turning off the light and cranking up my settings. I'm at 4000 ISO. Of course, I didn't change my temperature or anything, and that's only lit by this one light. So the autofocus is still doing really good, surprisingly.
And that's also why a lot of people like Canon. Let me change my settings. Just because the ISO and everything, and the autofocus also is amazing, especially with eye tracking and photos. So that's all I have. It's pretty simple. I also have a 50mm 1.2. I did have a 1.4 and a 1.8, so I've loved these lenses just because these are all lenses I use. I use a 24mm for vlogging and then a 50 for more tight stuff. I could have bought an 85, but I like 50s for portraits and just everything, and it's versatile. Sure, I could get a 24-70, but I like primes just because I was a photographer. I would get equipment used if I were you. I bought this thing brand new, I believe, for $1,400, $1,200. I honestly forgot. I didn't get a warranty on everything, but this lens is super durable. Don't get me wrong, it's gonna last forever. Problem though, it was made in 2001, I believe. So it's a little bit old versus Sigma lenses are up and coming. A lot of people like them. The autofocus on them is amazing. Sure, this lens does have a little bit of, wait, listen. Okay, you can't hear it, but normally it does drag the focus and you can hear it a little bit. But I think Sigma lenses are amazing. They're cheaper. Sure, they're not at the level of this lens, like with weather sealing and stuff like that. But are you really gonna, like, if you're a sports photographer, you're gonna be able to spend money for the best lenses. So you're not gonna shoot Sigma. But that's all I have for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for liking all my videos. It does help me. And then commenting, it just gives me a little bit of feedback and it helps me decide what I need to make these videos on. I hope you learned something today. And this is not my one camera buy all. This is just what I do. And this works for my workflow. This helps me stay productive. It doesn't slow me down or anything. And this is what I use for my YouTube videos, for social media, and just everything content creating. I might switch my camera and upgrade, but as of right now, 2021, this is what I'm using for all my YouTube videos.